Hello, it is October 31st. Happy Halloween, and we are in London. We just got to our Airbnb, but we took a 7-hour train ride from Aberdeen in Scotland, so basically we went across the entire country. I was able to do some good work on the train, so I was working on my outline for Project Whisper, and so what I started to do was trying to answer different questions in the story. I noticed that as I was answering questions and trying to figure out this stuff, it was all coming back to this one concept, this one element of the story. So I basically, and this is the one element that I know the least about, like I'm still trying to figure out stuff about it, and everything in the story comes back to this one thing. So I do have to really figure it out, and it's hard to figure out concretely because I was trying to do some research on it and nothing was coming up. Basically, I have the freedom to do what I want with it, but that's difficult when the concept is so abstract, or can be. I also need to do a lot more character building. Like I have some general brushstrokes of like who she is and like where she came from. I need to figure out some more concrete details, like what exactly has she been through in her past? What exactly does she want now? The other thing I did is I divided the story into parts. I did all the way up to 8 parts because I've read some books lately that have like more than just 3 parts. So I figure, heck, I'll do 7 or 8. And just as I was going, I was kind of reordering them. And in each part, I was basically just giving a little paragraph description of what happens. And I finished that. I really like it. It gave me some good guidance for the overall story. So that brings me to today being Halloween. That means tomorrow is November 1st, Tuesday. And that's the first day of NaNoWriMo. So I kind of feel like I want to spend this month working on Project Whisper and fighting my perfectionism when it comes to writing, because it's so hard to, like, when you're drafting, not to just like nitpick over every detail. Like I could write this sentence, but I don't know enough about what I'm talking about, or I don't know enough of the specifics yet, or I don't know how to word it perfectly. Like forget all of that, just bare bones, taking some practices from fast drafting, which I've never actually done, but I've heard about. And it's just basically about exploding your thoughts onto the page, not caring about how pretty it is because it's supposed to be rough. I know I said I was going to try to discovery write this, but as it turns out, this story needs to be outlined. I'm gonna go now, and I'll check in with you probably today or tomorrow for the first day of Camp Nano. Oh no, not Camp Nano, the official Nano. I should probably make an account and register my story. Help hold me accountable. All right. I did it! I wrote almost 2,000 words over the last like hour and a half or so. I set a timer, 1 hour. So I started with 1,228 words that I wrote sometime earlier on this trip, and now I have 3,168 words. Finished chapter 1. It felt so good. I wrote 1,940 words. I don't even know my main character's last name, so as I was writing, I just put in brackets surname. And even the chapter names, like I'm just throwing a name there, something that somewhat describes what's going to happen in the chapter. Can change it later, anything can change later. Nothing has to be perfect now. Before I started writing, I basically just read over my notes about what I want to happen in chapter 1. I've only done a detailed outline of events for the first 2 chapters, so there's going to be quite a bit of discovery writing. I have obviously some images of what I'm trying to aim for, but I don't really know beat by beat what's going to happen. So this is going to be an interesting experiment. It's 9 a.m. right now, so I've been writing since just after 7 a.m. So I just woke up and was like, I'm ready to write. So now it's our first full day in London, so I don't know what we're going to get up to. Last night we ate at a Venezuelan restaurant, which was really good. It's called Arepa & Co. and it's in the Bethnal Green area, and it was so good. I've always wanted to try Venezuelan food because I wrote a scene where my characters are eating it in Stormcloud, and arepas just sounded so good. We're so excited to eat here in London because it's a city with like so much culture and everything, and so like many different cultures, so there's all this like delicious food that I've heard about. Anyway, I'll check in with you later. November 2nd. It is Wednesday. It's 7:58 a.m. My husband wants to find jellied eels. This is like a dream of his. It sounds so gross to me, but we found a place that he can do it. So we're going to go do that today. Second day of NaNoWriMo. I have set a focus session for an hour with a 5-minute break in the middle. We're working on chapter 2 today. So since last night and this morning, I've been thinking about what chapter 2 is going to entail. So we'll see what happens as we go. We're just throwing words onto the page at this point, folks. Chapter 2 starts, let's see, in 20 seconds. So we're going to get set up here. I'm ready to start. I got to play my music. So I'm going to say peace out to you. Get set up and get ready to go. Hello. So I come to you after my writing sprint. So what happened was throughout the writing sprint, I was kind of feeling like I was pulling teeth a little bit, which is fine. You know, that happens. Every day the words can't just be flowing out of you, you know. City traffic, am I right? When I had about 7 minutes left at the end of the writing sprint, I just kind of stopped. I had written what I could think to write and just kind of had felt like, okay, I think I'm just gonna call it a day. Still, I had managed to write about a little over 1,000 words at that point, and that includes about 350 words that I stole from a storm cloud draft, just because I liked the way something was described there. And then, after the writing sprint finished, I had an idea of how I could end the scene a little differently, and so I just had like a burst. Oh, calendar notification just popped up. I'll get to that in a second. I had like a little burst of creative energy, I guess, rewrite the end of the scene with this new idea, and so that gave me an extra 300 words. So now in total, I started today with 3,168 words, and I ended with 4,555 words. So that's a total of 1,387 words. So I feel pretty good about that. Not quite as high as yesterday, but I'm not comparing day to day. It's more just about how I felt. And today it didn't feel like I was pulling teeth, but at the same time I feel like I redeemed myself at the end there, so that's good. Speaking of calendar notification, today, November 2nd, is the, how many years is this now? 13-year anniversary of Stormcloud now. So it feels fitting that I am working on a story in the same world on the same day. My baby is 13 years old. Gosh, is this what it's like to own a teenager? Just all the trouble that it gives me. Do ignore that. So it's November 3rd. Oh, it's my cousin's birthday. It's almost 9 a.m. So comparatively, this is sleeping in. We went to go see Wicked yesterday. It was pretty impulsive last minute decision. It was great. It's been on my bucket list to see it. It was second after Phantom of the Opera, which I saw when I was in New York in 2016. That means that today is the day where we're actually gonna go and get these jellied eels and go to the War Museum. I kind of feel like today I want to do a shorter writing session, so instead of an hour, maybe I'll just do 45 minutes. It's a dark and rainy morning outside. And I wanted to mention one other thing. So I love music. It's right up there with writing with me. And I also love sorting all my music into different kinds of playlists. I recently made a bunch of playlists that I call the word playlists, like wordplay playlists, where basically it's pretty straightforward, where I just like go through my whole, catalog of music, and all the songs whose titles have like certain words or certain word themes, I'll group them together in a playlist. And so I did one with garden, trees and plants and flowers and gardens, and all of the songs that have words like that in the title, I put them together. And I've been listening to my garden playlist for Project Whisper. At least I did it yesterday, and it really helped to set a vibe. Even yesterday, as I was not totally feeling the writing, it still helped to set the vibe. Today, I think I'm going to not spend too much time in the weeds, pun intended. in that, I'm just gonna like, because I find sometimes like I'll be writing a scene and I'm getting too bogged down in the details, or I'm spending too much time in the scene and I just need to end it and get to the next scene.
Yo no me acuerdo.
That's so cool. Apologies for the darkness, but it is 9 p.m. now and I have just finished writing. I didn't think it was possible, y'all. My word count. I started today with 5,188. Total words now, 7,362. So today I wrote 2,174 words. That's my record to date. So I'm just very proud of myself, because you know what it is? Sometimes you sit down and you're like, I'm not feeling it, or I don't know what's going on. I just don't see how I'm going to hit my word count today. But then something wonderful happens. You give yourself the chance to get into it. And you do get into it. And you just start blitzing out a draft. So I finished chapter 2, and now tomorrow I am ready to start chapter 3. Chapter 3, I feel like now we need to have a turning point where something happens. She learns something, you know. Things don't seem all rainbows and sunshine or whatever. So I'm excited to do that. I'll probably think about that in the back of my mind between tonight and tomorrow when I'm able to write. So good night, and I will see you tomorrow. So we're going down to level 1.
Please mind the doors. Doors closing. Going down.
with some of our stuff strewn around. And yeah, not much to see here. It is November 6th. It is Sunday. It is 5:03 p.m. And I have had a wonderful day. A very NaNoWriMo day. Okay, so I'm in London, right? And I figured while I'm here, let me look and see if there's any like NaNoWriMo events happening. Like that would be really cool to do, especially since I'm an introvert and I don't really know many writers. So I was like, it'd be nice to at least temporarily for a couple hours have my own little community of writers. So I found an event. It was at a Pret-a-Manger, is that how you say it? The little coffee shop chain in London. So I went to the NaNoWriMo event. It was awesome. There were probably like 20 to 30 people there. We were all sort of in like this one cornered off section in the downstairs of the Pret. And I showed up, introduced myself. Hi! Do you need something? Okay, I'm back. Crisis averted. Walked in, introduced myself. Everyone was so nice. And the way that they did it was, so it was 3 hours. It was from 1 to 4 p.m. And each hour, the first 15 minutes is just allotted to chatting with everyone and getting to know them, talking about writing, whatever. And then the next 45 minutes is dedicated to writing. So did that 3 times and I did so well. So each of those 3 sessions, I wrote at least 1,000 words. And I updated my Camp Nano on the website each time. So I started today with 8,377 words. And I was in the middle of chapter 3, I believe. So after the first writing session, I finished chapter 3 with 1,154 words. So that was just the first hour. The first 45-minute session, I wrote 1,100 words. Then the second session, I wrote exactly 1,200 words. And then the third session, I wrote 1,388 words. Okay, so each time I wrote a little bit more than the last time, and then I finished chapter 4. That's a grand total of 3,742 words in 3 hours. I'm so happy that I went. Writing can be such a solitary activity, and especially like for me, like I know there's a lot of writers out there who have their communities, who have their tribes, they have their critique partners, they have their beta readers, they have just writing friends, whatever. I don't really have that. I basically like this right here, vlogging, that's basically the extent of me talking about writing, because you can talk about writing with people in your life, but unless they really know it, you can't really talk about it in detail, or you could, but it's kind of weird. So it was nice to go and talk with actual writers, hear what some of their stories are about, hear about some of their writing styles and things like that, some of the struggles that they're working on. So I'm buzzing. I feel like honestly like I could keep writing. It's really funny to me that this is my 9th year, I feel like, of knowing about and participating in NaNoWriMo or Camp NaNoWriMo. And this is the first time I'm like properly doing NaNoWriMo. Like I'm not rebelling. I'm not working on a project that I already started in the previous month or previous NaNoWriMo or anything. I literally conceived of this idea in the last couple of weeks. So it's fresh. I had enough time to plan enough of the story that I could start writing it. And I'm writing it completely from scratch, with the exception of like 350 words that I stole from Stormcloud. So all good things, all good things. Tonight we have made a reservation at a Persian restaurant because it is my dream to try Persian food. And then tomorrow's an interesting day because tomorrow I'm getting a facial. I've never had a facial in my life. So it's a little bougie because it's like a fancy spa place. And I want to go buy some tea. There's a store called Fortnum & Mason, which I guess is also really bougie. In case you can't tell, I'm a little bougie. I realized I forgot to show you what I got from the NaNoWriMo thing. So I got this sticker, the white sticker with the flowers and stuff. Like, isn't that so cute? And then also I got this bookmark. And your story matters. This is so cool. I love NaNoWriMo. I think it's the best. If you're doing NaNoWriMo and you need a bit of a pet talk, I did 2 videos for their channel, which I will link down below. I did them like 3 years ago or something, but I feel like the advice still stands. Just if you need some encouragement, if you need a bit of a pep talk, they're both like less than 5 minutes long. And it was a good time. Fun fact, One of the videos, the one where I'm wearing a blue shirt and a gray white sweater, that's the same day that I went on my first date with my husband. So that's the outfit I actually wore on our first date.
Later.
So it is November 8th, it's Tuesday, and I have a couple things that I want to recount to you. One, I have a new pair of black jeans, just black skinny jeans, okay? And can I just tell you that I am relieved to be able to still buy skinny jeans in this Gen Z day and age, because apparently skinny jeans are out, but you will have to claw them out of my cold dead hands. Yesterday, oh my gosh, yesterday was like the best day. It was a Sydney day. I spent the whole day on my own, basically, for the most part, not the whole day. And I went to a spa. So I had my spa appointment and I booked this 90-minute facial, but it's just, I mainly did it for the experience, you know? It's the bougiest thing I've ever done in my life. It was in this fancy hotel called the Corinthia, and I got there, the lady showed me around. As soon as I got there, she's like, would you like some tea or some water or a smoothie? And I'm like, I'll take some tea, please. And then she showed me around the spa facilities. Like, this spa that I went to allows you to use like the pool facilities for an hour before and after your appointment. So you're not just going for your appointment, you're also going to be able to like have this full luxury experience. There was a pool, there was a heated like jacuzzi pool as well. There was a steam room, and there was a sauna, and there were lounge chairs, and there were fireplaces like all throughout the pool facility. It was glorious. And there wasn't that many people there, so I didn't feel too crowded. I went and I luxuriated there for an hour. Then the lady came and got me for my appointment, had 90 minutes of bliss. She did 2 different face masks on me, and when the first one was on, she gave me a foot massage. When the second one was on, she gave me a hand massage. Oh, and at one point, she put the steamer on my face, and it was just like blasting hot steam on my face for like 5 minutes, and I'm sure my pores were like open to the gods, honey, because it was just so great. It was like so intense, but it was kind of amusing. And for the first 10 minutes of the appointment, I kept saying to myself, Sydney, you need to chill, relax, like calm down. This is supposed to be a relaxing experience. Calm down, because I just kept wanting to like smile. I was so excited to be there. And then I was also thinking, like, I don't know what I have to do to get my mom to London and to this spa, but I'm bringing her to this spa, and we're gonna have a wonderful spa day, her and I, because she would love this. It was so great. And then afterwards, I booked a reservation for myself to eat lunch for one at an Italian restaurant, nothing too fancy. And then I went and did a little bit of shopping. So I went to And Other Stories, and I found these 2 coats. So gray or beige? I'm leaning towards gray. Yeah, so I didn't buy them in the store. I do not have the room in my suitcase for that. I went to Levi's because I was looking for black skinny jeans. Oh, let me tell you why I need black skinny jeans. So me and my husband were staying with my mom right before we came out on this trip. She drove us to the airport, and I was wearing my black jeans, my skinny jeans, in the car. It was going to be what I wore on the plane. But like, I don't know what it was. Something about like as we were driving there, I looked down and I realized my my pants had split on the thigh. Because I have thick thighs, y'all, so they're rubbing together all day. So eventually, all of my jeans end up with a tear there. Yeah, so that's why I needed new black jeans. So I happened to find some at Arcat. They were cheaper than the ones at Levi's, and the ones at Levi's were way too tight. And then I went to Fortnum & Mason's tea. There must have been like 50 different kinds of tea, 50 different kinds of biscuits for your tea, all these different kinds of coffee, all these different chocolates. So I bought a tea advent calendar, which is like my dream. And yeah, I just had a wonderful day. By the time I got home, I was so exhausted. It was only like 4:30 p.m. And then we still had a reservation at an Indian restaurant. Today we're going to go to the British Museum. We're going to go to this stationery store called Choosing Keeping. I haven't written today yet. Hopefully I can do that later today, so we'll see about that. Last night I did manage to write about 1,200, 1,300 words, just enough to get through where I'm actually supposed to be at today. So I'm at like 13,400 words, give or take, and I think at the end of today I'm supposed to be at 13,300. So I pushed myself to get past that point today. That's all I've got to say today. I'm going to wear my new black jeans today, and we'll get going and see what else London has to offer. We're almost done here. We leave in 2 days. The strike is still going to happen on the day that we're leaving. So we'll see if we manage to get out of the country. If we manage to make it to the airport on time. This is the one where all the stolen artifacts are.
Yeah.
Greetings. It is the evening time, November 8th, and we went to the British Museum. The great thing about our trip so far, the places that we've been, is that museums have been free. However, for us, the downside to that has been that we've gone to enough museums in the last couple of months that we have a little bit of museum fatigue, like walking around, looking at a lot of really cool things, but having like reading everything and like actually getting an appreciation for like all the different things you're seeing. It was really hard to do that today, which was really unfortunate because it was such a, the museum had a lot of cool exhibits from like different cultures and stuff. It was really cool, but it was hard to like really absorb anything and appreciate it. So I would love to come back to London, and we're definitely going to have to come back to this museum. So after the museum, we went and had some Japanese food. And then after that, we went to Choosing Keeping. This is John's. Inside, it's plain paper, so unlined. Oops. Oh, and they gave us these little labels. And then my journal looks like this. So I haven't written today. Last time I wrote was last night. I wrote like 1,200 words or something, 1,300 words. And just been thinking about it, even at the time when I was writing it. It was completely pantsing it. Like that scene that I was writing, I didn't know where I wanted it to go next, so I was just pantsing it. And by the time I got to the end of the chapter, the end of the scene, it was a little bit kind of like, what the heck did I just write? So I'm not confident that I like what I wrote. On one hand, I do like it. It's very interesting, and it opened up an avenue I hadn't even considered. On the other hand, I don't know what the heck to do with it. I don't know where I'm going with it, because my character is lacking, let's say, the skills that she would need to be able to continue on the path that I've written her on. So I guess I could find another way for her to get to go down this path. Maybe she seeks help from somebody else. Maybe I write in a new character or something. I don't know. Or I just get really creative about what happens next. But suffice it to say, I'm a little doubtful. And while my instinct, I feel like at this point, is to take a step back and maybe remove what I've just written and write in a different direction, because it doesn't really matter right now what I've written. The point is, this first few chapters has to end at a certain point so that way she can move on to the next set of chapters. So as long as I can still get to that point, it doesn't really matter where I'm at right now, because I'm completely pantsing this. We're very early stages of the story. Nothing's really set in stone. So I'm going to keep with it. I'm going to stick with what I wrote, and I'm just going to push forward. So I'm going to go try to write. I'm going to probably set a timer for maybe I'll give myself 45 minutes, because 30 minutes is too little and 60 minutes is too long. And I'll see where I end up, and if I end up somewhere good. November 9th. It's the morning. It's barely morning. It's 11:35. We are going to see Phantom of the Opera today. We caved. It was very much a case of we wanted to see The Lion King, but we needed to see Phantom of the Opera. My current word count is 15,518 words. So this morning I wrote 816 words. Last night I was about 300 words from the end of today's goal, which is 15,000 words. But then I just couldn't figure out the next step, and I needed to sleep on it. I found that a couple of times, especially because I'm blindly going into this story. Like, again, I have overarching ideas of what I want to happen later, but in terms of like the immediate next few scenes, I don't know exactly what's happening. I often end up getting to the end of my writing sessions, or even in the middle of my writing sessions, not really knowing how to finish a scene or what happens next. So I find it's good at that point. Like, I'll push myself a couple of times, try to figure out the next thing, and if I really, really am struggling to, then, sometimes it's good to just sleep on it. And I did manage to figure out a next step when I woke up this morning. So now I'm kind of at a point where I could write the next few hundred words, but after that I'm not really sure just yet. But we are going to start getting ready to go, so I don't really have time to work on it. I was trying to just write like 500 more words to get through tomorrow's word count goal of like 16,000 something, because tomorrow we fly to Iceland and there's the whole train strike thing, so we have to figure out our transportation to the airport, and tonight we still have to pack. So hopefully tonight I can get that last 500 words in to try to get ahead of tomorrow. Are you excited to see Phantom? Look at that. So classy. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my gosh. What is that? Christian Dior. Wow. This is how the rich people live, John. Oh my god. This is glorious. I wonder how much it costs. It's for the dining table. Hello, so packing things are happening. Here's my packing mess on the bed. It is November 9th, it's the end of the day. We saw Phantom of the Opera. Like, if you've seen Phantom of the Opera, you know the songs that it's famous for. When those songs are being performed, I was so excited. I was squeezing John's hand like repeatedly because I could not contain myself. There's no other way to express my excitement. So yeah, anyway, it was really great. We really enjoyed it. But yeah, so packing things are happening, which means writing things are not happening. But I figured I'd at least update you from this morning. I did manage to squeeze out 358 more words. Sorry for the blue squares on my glasses. This is my laptop screen. I did manage to squeeze out 358 more words. So my current word count for today, November 9th, is 15,876. And where I am supposed to be is at 15,000 by the end of the day. But I've written 9 days in a row. So that's really, really, really good. I'm very excited. I'll show you my graph. So here's my NaNoWriMo page. And there's my graph. Yeah. And these are my, you can see which days I wrote the most. So like this day and this day. And this is today, so it's not the lowest. That's still a lot of words to have written in one day. And then my personal word count chart. So as you can see, with the exception of November 3rd, I've written over 1,000 words every day. And so I'm really proud of myself for that. We'll see how long that lasts. But I figured I'd wrap up the vlog. So that's NaNoWriMo in London for you. Next stop, we're flying to Iceland tomorrow, so we'll be there for 4 nights, so 3 full days. I don't know how much, if any, vlogging I'm gonna do during Iceland. We'll see. I will definitely keep up with NaNoWriMo updates at the very least. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this little trip that we've been doing. We have certainly enjoyed it. I can't believe we've been traveling for 2 months. We started in Ireland, then we went to Edinburgh, Scotland Highlands, and then we were in the Lake District in England, and we went back up to the Highlands, Inverness and Aberdeen, and then we came down here to London, and now we're going to Iceland, and then after that we're going back home. So it's been a great 2 months. It's been a great time for writing and reading and being creative and getting to travel and filling the creative well and all of that good stuff. So I hope that you've enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you next time. Bye.